Hey guys, what's going on? It's Kaeyoh here. Today we're going to be talking about Auriel, who is now on the PTR, and she is a lot of fun to play. Definitely a very high skill cap support. But today I wanted to focus on what build I've been using the most and what I feel like is the best style for her right now. And pretty much I think she's going to be a pseudo support. So in general, so far from my experience, I feel like you're going to want to have a full support on your team. Especially because she's lacking some pretty important stuff like not having cleanse. So if you're going to pick her as a solo support, she does have to come a lot later in the draft. Kind of like that's similar to the way Tyrande is picked as a solo support right now. So if we look at the build here, one thing that you'll notice as you start playing Auriel is that her talents are not actually mutually exclusive between being a damage or a healer. They're both very mixed in together, so you're going to either be, you're going to be doing healing and damage pretty much no matter what build you go, some more than others, but it's not like one build just takes all of your healing power away while one build gives you all the healing power in the world. So let's talk about specifically some of the different options that you have. At level 1, I prefer to go the Swift Sweep talent. Because I like having that increased cast speed. It allows you to more consistently get these procs off, which is important because later on you're going to go the blind talent as well. So being able to get those off and have them go quickly is very nice. Now this pairs well with the level 4 talent that's Majestic Spoon, as I joke a lot of the time, but Majestic Span increases the radius of Sacred Sweep by 20%. So this gives you a little bit more of a wide arc for you to hit people, as well as increasing the center of it a little bit as well. So this pairs nicely with the cast speed because it's a little bit easier for people to dodge when they see it coming from such a wide radius. Let's talk about some of the other choices at level 1 and 4 though. At level 1 you also have a questing talent, which I do like this questing talent. I think it's very strong. However, I think it's going to be hard to consistently stack this against good players. And that's really the reason I don't take this talent. I just think the consistent value out of Swift Sweep is better than trying to build this, which is going to be really difficult to get stacks on versus high skill players. Righteous Assault, for one, you're a character that has very low mobility, so if you step up to try and hit these stacks and constantly get it, people are going to know what you're trying to do. They're going to be avoiding your stacks on purpose and probably looking to punish you every time you go in. So Righteous Assault reduces the cooldown of Sacred Sweep by 2 seconds for each enemy hit up to 4. This is good as well. Also pairs well nicely with the blind, but from what I found, it's more worth it just to have this increased cast speed to guarantee the hits on people, because with this blinding flash you do need to hit the center area, so that's still challenging to do, and having a much faster sweep is, I found, very useful. So Searing Light, Ray of Heaven also deals damage to enemies in the area. This is a really cool talent because of the level 16 talent, Reservoir of Hope, you can actually build quite a nuke. Now this one, level 16, makes your Ray of Heaven constantly, if you use it at full charge, you get 75 more bonus energy in your total pool. So you can start building up to these incredibly huge shields, and that means also with the 30% damage, you can also start doing a ton of a nuke. However, I think it's way too hard to constantly rely on this being full hope to use heals. Level 7, personally I like Empathic Link, and this is where I'll start describing the playstyle of the character more. So generally I like to run Auriel with a bruiser that can actually stay in there and get in as a frontliner and do a lot of damage, as well as kind of just be enabled by Auriel. She's a very good enabler. So Empathic Link I find is very good talent because you get all of that damage, if it's Sonya or a Kerrigan or an Illidan. These are characters that people are going to be focusing. That's a threat they have to address. So they're going to be hitting that character, which means that you're constantly getting more of that hope through this talent. I think the Energized Cord is pretty good as well, just for building up hope while you're in lane phases and stuff like that. Glimmer of Hope seems pretty good as well on rotation-based maps like Dragonshire or Cursed Hollow. And Bursting Light, personally, maybe I'm not thinking about this correctly yet, but I don't think that this is a very good talent because the cooldown of Ray of Heaven is never really the problem. It's that you don't have enough hope to get an effective Ray of Heaven. So you know, this character is very new. Maybe I haven't thought about this enough, but to me, this talent doesn't seem very good. However, I think these are both good options. I like Glimmer of Hope, like I said, on rotation maps, but Empathic Link if you're enabling a bruiser. A level 10, Crystal Aegis, in my opinion, the very, very good choice here. Resurrect, again, it's a fun talent, which, you know, is strong, but I feel like at the more higher levels of play, you're going to struggle to get these off consistently. People are going to zone deaths just like they zone gems in Tomb of the Spider Queen. Crystal Aegis, however, has a lot more guaranteed value, and again, works very well when you're trying to enable people to go in, so you enable the Greymane, Kerrigan, Illidan, whatever. That moment, if you think about, for example, an Illidan who might be getting countered by a Brightwing and maybe a, let's just say a Brightwing KT, where they try to polymorph and then instantly hit him with the Gravity Crush, you know, full combo to get the kill. That's when you hit Crystal Aegis, right when they use their Power Spike to deal with that character. Put him in a stasis, completely negates that. It's a nice defensive break in the battle momentum for your team, for the enemy team rather, and it can save your dude that you're trying to enable while your Ray of Light comes back off of cooldown. So at level 13, Blinding Flash, I think this 4-second blind is amazing. This Converging Force seems pretty good as well. However, it's not quite as much of a pull as like S of Johann was. I'm sure you guys remember that. Piercing Lash, this actually, you know, the Lash ability, Detainment Strike, does a lot of damage, and I'm sure, you know, if you use this with something like a Leoric who's entombing multiple people and you Detainment Strike them all back up against the wall, you'd probably get a lot out of that. But personally, I've been opting for the Blinding Flash. My second favorite choice, though, however, is Repelling Strike. Enemies hit by Detainment Strike are knocked back 35% farther, and man, that 35% is a long knockback. So if you need to do peeling, if you need to get a bruiser off of your backline, or if you're just looking to set up stuns more, this would be the talent to go. However, so far, with the increased cast time and the increased range, I've so far been liking Blinding Flash. I like being able to get that onto somebody. Feels like it just gives me a little bit more utility in the fights. So at level 16, this is where I usually go Will of Heaven. Allies with Bestow Hope gain 20% attack speed. Again, really good on your Sonias, your Illidans, your Bruisers that just go in there. Reservoir of Hope is cool and fun, but I just feel like it's too hard to get that. You don't want to be waiting on full Hope stacks all the time. Wrath of Heaven, in my opinion, not as great of an option. 10% ability power is pretty lackluster. But if you're going triple ranged and you've got a big mage, maybe like a late game with the new KT Flame Strike build or something, maybe this is the way to go. But for now, I'm going to say Will of Heaven. At level 20, Diamond Resolve. There's a lot of cool level 20s, actually. They're all very good. Angelic Flight. Activate to fly to a chosen location. Now, it's more like, it's kind of like the regular fly on Falstad. It's not like Epic Mount or anything. But still really good on maps like Dragonshire. I feel like that's going to be, you know, really important to take. However, in general, I think Diamond Resolve is the best. When Crystal Aegis expires, it grants a shield that reduces damage taken by 50% for 40 seconds. So a huge resistant ability to go with your late game scaling. And what we've seen in the past and generally in Heroes of the Storm is that super strong resistant spells are some of the best scaling options in the game. Hardened Shield being the #1 example of this. Shield of Hope is very good as well, especially if you're against an AoE Wombo combo type team. I've had a lot of situations, you know, where I was going up against like a Gazlo or something, or a Leoric, and tombing a lot of people, trying to get a big burst onto an AoE group, and using Shield of Hope has been really good. However, my favorite is definitely Diamond Resolve. Again, going back to the enabler, you have a Kerrigan, for example, that goes in, or an Illidan. When they try to use all their spells to lock her down and get the kill, you pop Diamond Resolve. Not only do you save them from the cooldowns, but then immediately you have this huge resistant for them right afterwards to continue diving and fighting. So this is my enabler, just all around. You're going to be a pretty good healer. You have good utility. You have good wave clear, and just overall, just like be a good part of your team and a good enabler build. That's the longest name for a build ever. But anyways, guys, I give this build a try. Let me know what you think. I feel like maybe I am underestimating Detainment Strike a little bit, because it is a lot of damage. Generally, how I play this, I use Detainment Strike more as just a follow-up CC. So when somebody hits a good stun on somebody, that's when I get in position to hit them up against a wall as a follow-up. Instead of trying to go for it out of the blue. It's a very tricky skill shot to hit, and overall, a theme of this character is that she has very challenging skill shots to hit. So, hope you guys have some fun with Auriel. Let me know what you guys think about this build, or if you guys have some stuff that I missed and some builds that you like to run, please let me know. I'd love to check them out. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.